I mean, while she was here, she went off to a teenage sort of group. It's not a group home, but a group sort of centre where they can sit and down and work out things. But it was, it's an intensive, group therapy for a week. So she went to that. She found a lot of useful stuff there. So we figured this one will help us. And we can't make her go. It's all her own choice. We just presented her with this is what it's all about. Would you be interested in going to that? Do you think it will help you? She said yes, so sometime end of March, April-ish, she will be going away for 6 to 9 months to learn how to be a human in the world, as opposed to a spoiled brat who's only interested in her own things. I mean, even the kids that come and stay with us. Let's say that sometimes they can be brutally honest. Oh, but you're my friend. No, I'm just here because I want to visit with Mummy and Daddy. You're here and you play with me, so that's why. And yeah, not great. And we've noticed similar with her friends in quotes at church. All her good friends at church. It's like, no, they really only hang out with you because you're the same age as they are. It's like, it's sort of like when you were at school. If you were no good at playing sports, you weren't the first person picked. Hers has nothing to do with not being good at sports. So it is what it is. But hopefully she'll get over that. But she's not, she's not listening to us. She won't. We can tell her, but it's up to her to listen and to act on it. And I've noticed she is trying to make a difference, change the way she treats everybody, but there's a lot of flaming bridges on the road, and in some ways I think being somewhere completely new, far away from all of the hassle she's had here, she may be able to get her mind right and sort things out. But somebody's going to kill somebody if she doesn't figure out how to live a life. I just don't know. It's been about a year. I got to the point where, you know what, I don't care. I need to graduate from school. That's nice. Put the time in. Because you won't put the time in. Her grade point average is about 3.3, I think, because she can do it. She chooses not to. And we know she chooses not to, because some weeks she can ace every test. And this week she failed 2, I think. Total fail 2, not even a D or an E. It was, yeah, you just making stuff up. And I think that the part of the problem is one, she doesn't study. Yeah, typical teenager. She doesn't study. She says, I'm ready for the test. She grabs the test, and if it's an open book test, she looks for the answers. Well, one thing is if you've read it and understand it, then you might kind of know what the answer is and just need to turn to the appropriate point in the book to, you know, get it spot on. Or you can, you know, not study, not read the books, get the questions, and then you look through the paragraphs for words in the question, and then plagiarize what the sentence is as opposed to putting it in your own words. And you fail doing that. It takes you 3 times longer to do it because you don't actually know what you've studied and what you're talking about. Now the thing with me, back when I was her age, I didn't study, but I at least went through the material once, so I understood what was going on. And I could 80-90% most of my tests, except maybe history and English. Because that was more a case of I had some really bad history teachers that didn't really teach us history. And the English teacher wasn't the greatest. But if you can explain something, I'll pick it up, I'm good with it. And you ask me questions on it, I know all the answers. That was the funniest thing I had when we had elective classes, and I'd elected to do biology. And not because I was really interested in biology, but more a case of my grandmother was a biology teacher, so if I had any problems, I could ask her. Well, I was stuck in not quite the remedial biology class because they thought I sucked at biology. And so went into the first class, and the biology teacher basically just ran a Q&A session, and he would ask us biology questions on various topics within biology. And yeah, okay, so I answered the first 10 questions, and he's like, and got them all right. And it was just stick your hand up, answer the question. So after we were halfway through the lesson, and he's like, okay, can anybody except Osa answer all the answer this question? And a lot of the time, there was somebody who could, but frequently, no, they didn't know, and so he'd sort of leave it for a minute, and then he'd say, okay, so what's the answer? So I give him the answer, yes, it's right. So the following week I walked into my biology class, and he said, the biology faculty have had a meeting. You're not in this class anymore. You're in the next class up. So I said, oh, okay then. So I was relocated into the next class. They basically had a top, middle, bottom, and they put me in the bottom class, which was basically you barely understand biology, but you elected to do it. And the middle class was people who kind of wanted to do biology and kind of knew what they were talking about. And the top class were people who wanted to be doctors or botanists or serious biology people. And so that was kind of that. But it's not because I didn't study. I didn't study anything. But you tell me, I'll remember it if I'm interested. So that was that. But teenage Osa, no, she doesn't study anything, she doesn't read anything, she just looks at the questions and then tries to figure out what the answer is based on what the question says. She's also the sort of person who would read a headline and say this is what the article's about, without actually reading anything in the article at all. She's a headlines person, so she looks at the title of the topic or the chapter and forms an opinion on what all the answers should be, whether that's what they are or not. So if she's studying, if she's got a chapter on credit and credit cards and mortgages, and she's formed an opinion that having debt is bad, then all of her questions are, oh yeah, you should never borrow money. What about buying a house? Yeah, you should never borrow money. You should save up, $500,000 to buy a house. Sort of, how about getting a mortgage, or saving up for 50,000 of that and then getting a mortgage for the rest of it? Oh no, and it's like, very, very superficial. The subject is debt. She thinks debt's bad. Therefore, all of the questions, when she's asked questions about debt, it should be, you should never do that. As opposed, it's and the thing is obviously in life there are people who believe that some debt is good. Obviously, going to loan sharks, not good. Borrowing money so you can gamble, not good. Borrowing money so you can buy a car, well, maybe we'll let them off because. And that's kind of, I try to avoid debt when I'm playing Farm Sim, but if I don't have a harvester and I've got a field ready to harvest, I'm either going to lease a harvester or I'm going to borrow a little bit of money to purchase the harvester. Let's say I don't have quite enough money to purchase the harvester. I've got 100,000, I need 150. I'll borrow 50, I'll buy the harvester, I'll harvest the crop, I'll sell the crop, I'll pay the debt off. But I'm borrowing money that is immediately going to make me income. I'm not borrowing money because a certain YouTuber who is leaving Ohio and heading to Arizona, I believe, he will generally, I'm going to play Farm Sim, I'm going to set up a farm, here's the map I'm playing on. Okay, step one, I'm going to borrow all of the money I am able to borrow. And then I'm going to buy a tractor, a trailer, a harvester header, a harvester trailer, and I'll need a baler, I'll need a mower, and he just buys every single piece of equipment that he needs to make the farm go. Oh, I need a plough, I need a spreader, I need a sprayer, and he buys everything. And no, that's frequently his farms run for like 5 to 10 episode YouTube videos, and then he moves on because the farm has no money left and can't make a go of it. Me, I do the opposite. Okay, I'm going to start a new farm. Here's my money. I'm going to buy this yard and this land, and I'm going to look at the land and, I've got 2 fields that need to be harvested, but I already selected the fields I was buying based on the crops that they had, so that I only need a harvester and a header to harvest both fields. So either they've got wheat and barley in them, or they've got soybeans and corn in them, something like that, where I can use, or sunflower and corn in them. So I can buy a harvester, but I only need to buy one header, so that saves me a little bit of money. And then I'll look at the land. Oh, I need to plough some of these fields. I'll lease a plough. I'll plough the fields. I never have to plough the fields again unless I grow root crops or corn, in which case I'm going to need to plough the fields in that situation. So on this farm, because we're planting maize, because we're planting sugar beets and harvesting them both, there's always going to be fields to plough if I want the best yield, so I'm going to own a plough to get around that. You can buy a cultivator, or you can buy a direct drill, but I don't need to make that decision when I start the farm because it's not planting season. So I'm going to harvest my crops. Am I going to put them in a production? So I might buy a production, or I might say, no, I need to save my money. I'm just going to sell them off immediately. I might wait until the best price, or I might just sell them right now because I need the money. And I'm slowly working, I'm expanding the farm slowly, but I'm not in debt. So I don't have this debt payment load that's coming out every single month, draining my resources. I need to lime the fields. Okay, I'm going to lease a spreader. I'm going to lime the fields. That's good enough. Now I need to fertilise the field. Let's get a sprayer and fertilise the fields. Or I'll skip fertilising the first year. I'm not going to fertilise the fields because I don't have enough money to spend on fertiliser. I don't have enough money to spend on a sprayer. It will lessen the yield of from that next harvest, but it's okay. It's still making the farm money. I'm still going to make some money. I'm still going to get a yield. It's still going to cover the cost of the seed and the purchase of the seeder, so I don't have to worry about things. One of the last things I add to a farm, unless it comes in store sales, is a mulcher and or a roller, because I don't need them. Between them they add 5% to the yield, and they cost too much compared to the benefit you get from them. Now, when I've got 10 fields, it might be worth mulching and rolling the fields, because that 5% yield bonus, while it's not huge in the grand scheme of total yield, total income from my yield, it's noticeable. It's $50,000 of income that I wouldn't get if I hadn't mulched and rolled. So maybe that covers the cost of the mulcher and the roller in the first year, and then following years we're plain sailing. And again, I'll buy them on used market. I won't buy them new. So there's strategies involved, and within Farm Sim I don't like using debt. I think I made the big mistake in Farm Sim 17. Yes, I did buy all the nice big shiny equipment so I could get the jobs done faster. But the crop yield didn't cover the debt payments. So I very rapidly got negative money, didn't have the income to pay even the monthly interest charge on the debt, and got an achievement for that, because back in Farm Sim 17, running your farm down to minus $1 million got you an achievement. Now you have to make $10 million positive in the bank in order to get the achievement. But I immediately got to the point where, this farm's failed, and absolutely nothing I do can recover it, because if I sell the equipment, I only make 50% of the cost of the equipment, or whatever it was, in 17. And that won't delete the debt, and I'm still going to be accruing payments. Now, kind of the exception is buying land because you can sell land at the same price you bought it for. Not exactly realistic, and I will add mods in at times that will. I can buy land, but if I sell it, I'm not going to make as much from it. That's the variable land value mod that I run. Is basically I think it's 10 to 15%. I can buy land, but if I immediately sell it, I'm going to get 10% less than I bought it for. But the price fluctuates, so I can buy land that's cheap, and later on I can sell it when it's worth more. So I could be a land dealer, and if we go here, go to farm. Well, I own a lot. So this field is 156,000. Nope. This field is almost 500,000, but is priced 88% above normal rates. That too. That one is 285 and is 6.3 cheaper. So 100,000 difference. This one is 3.2 hectare or 0.2. That's 4.37. This is a bigger field and costs less than that one because of this variability in land prices. So that's one thing. So I could buy this field, wait till the value adjustment is plus 88%, and sell it for more. But if I buy this field now, 285, I'm going to get less for it when I sell it, if I try and sell it immediately. So that kind of encourages you not to play sort of crop stealing. I'll buy a field, I'll harvest the crop, I'll sell the crop, I'll sell the field. I'll buy another field, I'll harvest the crop, I'll sell the crop. So you're making money from selling the crop as opposed to doing a contract to harvest the crop. But the value of the land doesn't drop by the value of the crop. Normally, if you buy land with a crop in, either you're buying the land, but the former owner gets to harvest his crop because the crop's his. If he wants to retain that ownership, he just doesn't want the land anymore. So he's basically saying, you buy the land off me, I get to harvest the crop, and then you take ownership of the land immediately that the crop's cleared, and you get to do all the ploughing and planting and everything else. Or you get sold the land with the crop, in which case you take ownership of the crop, but what you pay is basically the land value plus the crop value. And once you've taken the crop off it, if you want to sell the land, it's only worth what the land's worth, not what you paid for it, because it had crop on it, and you now have the crop in your barns. So Farm Sim slightly unrealistic on that count, because you can buy the land, steal the crop, sell the land for the same price you bought it for. And I know there are some people who play Farm Sim who basically declare that's kind of cheating, so when I do my playthroughs I'm not going to do that. Because doing something like this, I don't know how many litres of sugar beets we've harvested. I might be able to get an idea. It's October 4th. We didn't look. No, I can. Okay. So let's get that emptied. I think get out of his way. We'll go and maybe get to the end of the road. I'm not going to fill. Okay. Okay, let's go here. We don't usually look at this screen. That one. Harvested hectares. Seed usage in litres, fertilizer, fuel. Harvesting time. No, it doesn't tell me what I've harvested. We've used 2030 fertilizer. Yeah, it doesn't tell me how many litres I harvested. But if it had, then we'd know. I mean, I can probably guess we've probably made about 500,000 litres. I'm sure I've been to the store about at least 10 times. And what is sugar beets worth in there? Sugar beets. 230, 240. So 500 divided by 1,000. So that's 500 times 240 is 240 plus 2 zeros, 24,000 times 125,000. So I've just made an income of 125,000 and I sold the field. That's way more than I could do in 3 hours of playing with doing contracts. So yeah, it's a way to make money fast, but it's not really a realistic way of making money fast. So anyway, looks like it's 11:30. How long have we been going here? 2 hours 40 minutes. We'll go a little bit longer.